All right, we're back and we're live. Welcome back, you guys, to our daily live feed. As you guys are logging on, if you would like to go and come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. Welcome, you guys. Say hello when you get logged on. It's been a very busy day over here today. Some of you guys joined us on our webinar earlier. Hope y'all enjoyed that. That was my first time doing that, so I think I did an okay job for my first time. What's up, guys? Welcome, you guys. Welcome. I know. Yeah, Christina, I've seen you all day long. Okay, Dad. Dad's back. What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome. So tonight is a program update night. So this is your opportunity, you guys. We started doing this a few weeks back, where once a week we come on, we talk about what's going on in our prep lives or non-prep lives or wherever you are in your state, whether you're in off-season, on-season, whatever it may be. I've got a kind of train of thought I want to go down, but I want your input. I want your questions. I am not a coach. I am not a trainer. So keep everything I say with a grain of salt. That is not my thing. I do the presentation portion. However, I am an athlete and I've been in the sport for 15 years. So I know a few things. Yes, it's Transparency Thursday. That's true. Yep. So as you guys are getting on here, I always tend to ask, like, who's in off season, who's in prep. Go ahead and tell me if you're which part of your journey you are in right now. And again, going back to, we're trying to get away from saying off season and saying improvement season, because off season implies that you're doing nothing, and improvement season means you're making improvements on your physique, right? So we're trying to change that verbiage, change that vernacular. Improvement season. There you go. Yep. Improve. There you go, Amanda. You got it. You got it. Prep 2.5 weeks out. Yes. Yeah, our shows start ramping up in just a couple of weeks here. So health and improvement season. Yep. There you go. All right. So if you guys didn't know, I'm in improvement season. Right? All up in improvement season. Yep. So improvement season is important, you guys. This is no joke anymore, the sport. It used to be where you could do bikini after dieting for 6 months and just jump on stage and do decent. That's not the case anymore. All of the divisions have increased in difficulty, increased in size, all of those kinds of things. So you have to really take your health, you have to take your athleticism, all of that seriously. Just like a regular athlete, right? If you want to be a, I don't know, baseball player or something like that, you don't start playing baseball when you're in your 20s, right? You start playing baseball when you're like in 5th grade, if you're late, right? So people that are professional athletes that make a lot of money as professional athletes usually started when they were babies, when they were kids, right? So a lot of the people that are competing nowadays were athletes. Like, they were athletes in high school, they're collegiate athletes. Some of them even went into professional athletics, and then they decided to move over into the bodybuilding realm once they got done with all of that. It's really a fantastic way to stay competitive as an adult. There's not a whole lot of places you can do that, right? That's why CrossFit's so popular. That's why powerlifting's so popular, strongman, all that kind of stuff, because you're able to do those as an adult, right? And actually be competitive and win shows and meets and all those kinds of things, right? So you have to remember that this is an athletic sport. So you have to treat your body like you're an athlete. And you also can't expect to go from being, and I use this all the time, go from being a Pee-wee football player to an NFL football player overnight. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So it's the same thing in the sport. You can't expect to go from never having competed to being a pro overnight. Doesn't work like that. There are a lot of people that come out and they just kill it and they make it up to the pro circuit really fast. But the reason why they're able to do that is because of what I just mentioned. They were athletes their whole lives, right? Maybe they played sports. Maybe they were in, sports in college or, that kind of thing. They have an athletic background. So they're able to transition their athletic build and all of the muscle that they already have and all of the performance skills that they already have and transition those over into the bodybuilding world and do very well, very, very fast. But that didn't come just overnight. It came from them being an athlete their whole lives, right? So we have to keep that in mind. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of times I see girls place these timeline goals on themselves when they're trying to compete, right? Where, say they'll compete in the spring or something. They'll compete April, May, and then they decide they're going to take an off season. They're like, I'm going to come back again in April, May, and compete again. Okay. Sometimes that is okay. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that's enough time to make some significant improvements, improve your look, improve your placement, all of those things. Sometimes it's not, right? Because what happens is that, say you diet for 4 months. Let's say you diet for 4 months to get on stage, right? In order to get your body even back to where you started, how long is it going to take? Probably about 4 months, right? Probably going to take you about 4 months to go from where you were dieted to where you were when you weren't. And that's just getting yourself back to ground zero. Like a lot of people have mentioned on here, they're in health and improvement season, like try to get their health in a good spot because, this is an extreme sport. You have to go to extreme sometimes, right? So you get back that 4 months and you're back to where you started. Now you're back to where you started. And now you need time to make improvements past that. Muscle is not that easy to build, you guys. Shape is not that easy to change. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of daily habits being made a priority. Sleep, we've talked about this, recovery, eating in a surplus, right? Training to your max, maxing out all the time, progressive overload, doing those things in the gym that are going to tax your body and make you get better. If you're just going in there just kind of meh, just kind of ho-humming through the whole workout, you're not going to grow. You're not going to make any improvements. You have to push yourself. You have to push yourself daily in order to make improvements. So anyway, it says putting on muscle creates shape. It does, yes. But, changing your shape too. So for example, like with you have to grow some size on your upper body. So changing your shape so that you can add size onto your upper body versus onto your lower body, that's hard. That takes time. You're fighting against your genetic makeup, all of that, right? This is hard to gain, but easier to lose. Yeah. And for a lot of people, that's the case too. It's a whole lot easier to lose muscle than it is to gain it, for sure, when you're dieting. Muscle doesn't want to stick around. You got to work to even maintain your muscle, let alone grow more. Right? People don't realize how difficult it is to do that. That's where tonight's topic comes into play. Remember, slow and steady. Okay. So let's go back to this concept of, okay, so we've been off stage for 4 months after competing in May. So say it took you 4 months to diet down till April. Then you competed in April and you competed in May. Okay. Now we have to get back 4 months. So June, July, August, September. Now we're back to normal at September. Okay. So if you want to compete again in April and you gotta diet again in April, when are you dieting? Or when are you getting on stage in April? When are you starting your diet? January, March, April, May. May have to go even earlier than that, right? So let's say December, depending on what part of the month you're in, right? So now you're looking at from September to December to make improvements, to actually improve your physique from September to December. September, October, November, December. That's 4 months. It just took you 4 months to get back to normal. Now you've got only another 4 months to make improvements. How many of you guys have ever taken your improvement, your progress photos over the course of 4 months, put them side by side, and don't see any difference? I've done that. You're putting a whole hell of a lot of pressure on your body to make all of those changes in 4 months. It's such a reality, breaking down the reality of time. It really is. It really is. And this is me being realistic. You know, some people are going to be hyper responders. Some people are not going to respond that well at all, not even that well. And the older we get, the harder it gets. And the more that you train, the harder that it gets. When you first start training and you first start doing all this stuff, you get newbie gains. You know, you get those initial, you know, that's why guys, when they go into the gym, when they're freaking 17 years old, they just explode. They got a ton of testosterone, so there's that. But it's the newbie gains. You won't ever get that again after your first, few months of doing that. Then it's really, really slow growth. As a female, and if everything is going well and everything is going exactly how it's supposed to go, you might be able to gain a pound of muscle a month, maybe. But as Kelby said, muscle's easy to lose. So what happens when you actually go and you diet again? You lose probably close to half of that, if not more. Let's be positive. Let's say that we're going to retain 3/4 of the muscle that you put on. Okay. Let's say we're going to retain that. So we're looking at maybe 3 pounds of muscle, which that is a lot of muscle to put on in 4 months. But that doesn't mean it's going in the right places. Doesn't mean that you pulled it from one spot and you put it in another, right? And if you are brand new in this sport, you're going to need more than 3 pounds of muscle. And y'all know we have stubborn body parts, right? A lot of girls that I talk to, their stubborn body part is their shoulders, right? Shoulders I have zero problem with, right? I can grow shoulders till the cows come home, right? My shoulders are like, boom, we're good. We're good. We're going to stay here forever. This is just what we do. My glutes, on the other hand, not so much. Not so much. So start realizing that slow and steady wins the race. Okay? And trying to fast track it in other means, and you guys know what I'm talking about, trying to fast track it in other ways, in other means, every time that you gain something, you lose something else. If that's the direction that you want to go, no chill. My shoulders got no chill. If that's the direction that you want to go, you have to be okay with the thought of, okay, I'm going to gain this, but I'm going to lose this. There is always a give and take. Always. Okay? So don't think that you're going to come out of it and be like the superhero and all this kind of stuff. That doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. When you try to fight Mother Nature, when you try to fight your genetics, it's going to fight back. It's going to fight back. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, I bring all this up because what you want to see when you're improving your physique is slow and steady. Things going in the right direction. And it's never going to be completely upwards. It's never going to be this kind of trajectory all the time, right? It's never going to be this. It's going to be this the whole time. It's going to be up, down, around, and through, right? It's never going to be a flat, like, okay, we're just going to stair step. We're going to take another step up, another step up. No, you're going to take a step up, then you take 3 steps down. Then you take 3 steps up and you're going to take 4 steps down. And it's just going to be that over and over and over and over again. Right? But if you're being consistent, like I said, with your nutrition, with your training, with your recovery, with all of the things that you're supposed to be doing, you should slowly be moving up. Okay? Over the course of months. Right? Over the course of months. Not over the course of days, not over the course of weeks, over the course of months. Okay? So really sit down and think about this and plot it out and realize that just because you got on stage one day last year doesn't mean you're going to be better when you get on stage that same day the next year. It doesn't. Hopefully, if everything goes right, hopefully you'll be a little bit better, but just a little bit. And what do you need? Do you need to be a little bit better? Or do you need to be a lot better? If you need to be a lot better, then you need more time. Consistency. Yep, consistency is 100%. And you need more time, right? You know, going back to my own progress and where I am in my journey and all that kind of stuff. You know, I got on stage last year and I knew going into it, I needed more muscle. I knew that. I knew I was going to have to be better conditioned. I knew I needed to have more muscle, but I also needed to see where I fit. I needed to see if my body was going to be good where I was. And it was. It was where I wanted to be. But I also knew, I said, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again until I'm going to be competitive. I'm not dieting again unless I'm going to be competitive on that stage. So every week when I check in with my coach, if I see, you know, things moving in the right direction as far as my shape and the muscle and all that kind of stuff, I'm happy. Like I literally don't even want to cut. How many of you guys are in that position right now? Where you're like, I'm good where I am in improvement season. Like I'm good. I want to lift more. I want to eat more. I want to grow more. I want more muscle. For me too, this is something you got to understand. Like, I don't know if you guys feel this or not. But I grew up in a time frame of if you were bigger than a size 0, you were fat, right? Yes, food, right? Yeah, yep. You know, I grew up in the, you know, I graduated high school in 1999. So I grew up in the 90s and, you know, everything was about being a stick, you know, being a stick figure, the Calvin Klein models and all that kind of stuff, right? It was about being a coat hanger. That's what it was. I was always bigger than everybody. I wish my waist wasn't so thick, right? Yeah, we all have our issues, right? I like my body composition right now. We talked about that. We talked about that last week, body composition and everything too. So it's like, yeah, I want to grow right now. You know, like when I was growing up, being skinny was what you had to be, right? I was always the biggest girl because I was tall, right? So since I'm 5'9", I'm tall. So I was always the biggest girl. That was hard. I was always the biggest girl around all my friends, around everyone. So I was relatively thin for my height too. But even like I started doing modeling and stuff like that when I was younger, and they told me I should be a plus size model, and I was a size 6. I was a size 6, and I was told I should be plus size. This is when I was like 19, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, cool, awesome. You know, so it's that thought process of you have to starve yourself in order to be thin. That's what you have to do. You know, that's what we did. So it took a long time. For me to be okay with growing and putting size on. It took me a very long time. Even as I was bodybuilding, even as I was doing this, I would get into a prep and I'm like, I would get into an off season. I'm like, I need to get thin again. I need to diet again. I need to get on stage again. Right? I did that for a lot of years. You guys. Yep. I was always told I was big. Yep. At 5'9". So I understand that at 5'11". Yep. Absolutely. So it took a long time for me to change my mindset. And, one of the things that people ask me all the time, because, I'm 41 years old, and they say to me all the time, how do you look the way that you do when you're 41? You know why I look the way that I do? Because I'm 41? Muscle. Muscle is how I look the way that I look. Now, I take really good care of myself, so don't get me wrong. But the reason why my skin doesn't sag, the reason why I don't have loose skin all over the place, the reason why I don't have pancake ass is because I have muscle. That's why I decided to come back to the stage in the first place. Enjoying the lifting for sure. Also anxiously awaiting the chance to see what version is under the current version of myself. Being patient though. Yeah, absolutely. And same thing. I want to see what improvements I've made. Absolutely. But I look at myself and being that girl that was always super thin, trying to be super thin and get as super thin as I could, seeing myself with some curve and seeing myself with some roundness and some fullness. I love it. And it's all because of muscle. I believe 43 in August, and people don't believe it. Yeah. Yep. So it's, when I was 38 years old, this was the process that I went through. When I was 38 years old, I was modeling and doing pageants. Okay. I had retired from competing, right? All I was doing, I was working for you guys, but I wasn't competing myself. And I told myself I wasn't going to do it again. And then I did a photo shoot and I was like, oh my God, my ass is sagging. I never did that before. No, I don't like this. No, I don't like this. So, actually, I'm sorry. I was 39 at that point. 38 was better. 39 stuff started going downhill real quick. And so as soon as I saw that, and as soon as I saw my body looking like that, I was like, this is not, no, we gotta grow this shit back. We gotta put that size back in there, specifically my ass. I was like, let's go. So that's what triggered me wanting to come back to compete again. Right? Right? 41. Yep. So that was what made me say, I want to do this again. Right? It wasn't even about getting back on stage and like being the best competitor in the world. That's not what it was about. For me, it was about maintaining my youthfulness. And frankly, my skin is better. My health is better. Everything is better because I decided to put muscle back on. Muscle is the fountain of youth, you guys. It's the fountain of youth. Because if you got muscle growing, that means everything else in your body is doing the right thing. In order for you to grow muscle, your body has to be in a good spot. It won't grow otherwise. Just like when you're outside planting trees and things like that. Like it's not going to grow if you don't put fertilizer on the seeds. It's not going to grow if you don't water it. It's not going to grow if you don't give it sunlight. Muscle's the same way. You have to nourish your body. So I like to diet down and compete again. I know now I have an imbalance. I need to grow my right leg. So here's some more thick season. Yep. Pandemic said yes, right? Yeah. Right. And that's the thing. It's like, so if you're here on this chat right now and you're in your 30s, keep your muscle, grow right now. It'll do wonders for you. It'll do wonders for you once you get into your 40s. I'm telling you, man. I look better now than I did 4 years ago. And my body functions better now than it did 4 years ago. I was just here's another thing. I was looking at my progress photos this morning, and I always flip back and I look at photos from like a few months back just to see what kind of progress I've been making. And even my skin and my hair looks better now. Like my hair has grown like 3 inches since freaking December. It's just crazy. It's crazy when you start looking back at stuff like that and how nutrition makes such a huge difference. Feeding your body makes such a huge difference. 40 is where it's at. 40 is absolutely where it's at, you guys. Not for nothing, but I came into my own when I turned 40. All y'all that aren't 40 yet, just wait. Just wait. You're going to hit a whole new level of you when you get to 40. Yep. 40s will people tell you nothing. I believe it. I talk about this all the time with the other friends of mine who are my age in their 40s, early 40s, that kind of thing. Till you get here, you ain't seen nothing, man. You ain't seen nothing till you get here. It just gets better. It just gets better. It really does. Confidence goes through the roof, all of that. So I'm telling you guys, be okay with taking the time. Be okay with it being slow and steady. Be okay with all those things, because you will thank yourself for it when you're in your 40s. I can't say anything higher than that because I'm not there yet, but I'm sure that it will help me when I get older. I'm sure it's going to help me when I get into my 50s. I see women, some of you guys are on the live feed now, that are in their 50s and 60s and things like that, that are fucking killing it. When I turn 30, there's 30 is nothing. You're a baby at 30. You're a baby at 30, man. Nothing. It's nothing. I'm telling you, man. It just gets better. It just gets better. Yep. 60 is the new 40. Love it. Yeah, I look better now in my 40s than I ever did in my 30s and even my 20s. I look back at old photos and stuff and I'm like, man, guys, like, it's real. Like, the fountain of youth is real, and it's all in your nutrition. It is. It's all in your nutrition and how you treat your body. And I think the biggest thing for me too, like when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I used to go out and party a lot. You know, I worked in the bar industry, all of that. I was a cocktail server, bartender, all of those things. So I was not in the best kind of lifestyle. Sleep was shit. I never slept, you know? So my nutrition was shit. When you're in your 20s, you can eat anything and still stay relatively thin, you know? You've got that metabolism. Once you get older, you can't do that no more. So it's like, man, now once you start paying attention to all those things as you get older, it really makes a huge difference. Yeah. Well, then I'm in trouble then at 38. I'm feeling Gucci's. You know, you have to tell me to pipe down in 2 years. I love it. I love it. Nah, man, I'm telling you, for those of you that are here that are 40, some of you have said this, some of you said this that are in your 40s. It's almost like an automatic thing when you turn 40. It's just a completely different level of everything. It's a completely different level of everything. You can't tell me nothing. I got way, way more confidence than I ever had when I was in my 20s, ever. I do not question myself one little bit in comparison to what I did when I was in my 20s. And I'm like, you don't like me? That's cool. Bye. My reel today, like my reel on my personal page today, I don't care about, I'm not going to cuss all that bad, but I don't care about what you're doing. Don't care about what I'm doing. I don't care. It's cool. It's fine. I met a woman at the gym this week who was 71. Oh my God, she looks incredible. She lost her husband 5 years ago, and yet she's still so full of life and happy. And I was in total awe. She said it was the gym. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. So guys, I bring this up because again, some people are so quick to want to get the results, to get to the end zone, to get to the pro card, to get to the Olympia, to do whatever it is in order to get to your goal and get there as fast as fucking possible. Who cares? Take your time. Take your time. Enjoy it. Revel in the fact that you have such an amazing body in the first place. Right? You can say I like my physique at 61 better than 40. When I was 40, my ears turned off to drama. Yeah, same. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. It's all about chasing your own dreams and what you want. And look, everyone else. Of course, listen, within reason. I'm not telling you to go like screw off your whole life, right? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying right now. That's right. The stage isn't going anywhere. And the stage is there to accent your life, right? It's there to make your life better. We've talked about this before. Getting to that stage should be about celebrating how hard you worked to get to that point, right? That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be a pressure thing where you feel like you have to do it in order to prove something or to get this title or to do this or do that. That's not what it's about, right? They shouldn't call 35, 40 masters of the way y'all looking at. No, absolutely not. I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it again. I don't think that masters should start until you're in your 40s. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. If you're taking care of your skin and you're doing a good job with that, women that are in their 40s can sometimes look better than women in their 20s, can look younger. Skin is the biggest thing, though, you guys. You got to take care of your skin. Make sure you got a good skincare routine. Make sure you're doing your Botox and your fillers. I'm actually making an appointment for touch-ups next week. Keep that all in check, y'all. It's true. And here's the other thing, too. Okay, here's another caveat, guys. So I started doing Botox when I was 23 years old. I was 23 years old when I did Botox for the first time. Okay. When I was 16, I had forehead wrinkles. I had forehead wrinkles when I was 16. You can see them in my pictures when I graduated high school. I had forehead wrinkles. That's just my genetics right there, right? Botox makes you not use the muscles in your face. That's what it does. So just like anything else, it's training your face to not move. So therefore, you no longer create those wrinkles anymore. So what happens is, if you start Botox when you're younger, your muscle in your face stops working like it used to. So by the time you get into your 40s, you don't need as much stuff as you would have if you never did it before, because your body's already trained to not use those muscles, right? Truth, because people like you and Jessica Wilson, some others, I'd never know you were master's eligible if I didn't know y'all. Yeah. So, and I keep up with it. I go in and get touch-ups on my Botox every 4 months. If I'm in prep, it's probably more than that, just because you metabolize things quicker. Fillers, I haven't had a single filler done, not a single one done since June. Since June, I haven't had anything done. I just started doing lip fillers like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Just started doing lip fillers. I do also, this is not a secret. I told everybody what I do. I do liquid facelifts, which is filler here, pulls up this way. I haven't done that in over a year. It's been over a year since I did that. So I'm a big believer in doing these procedures to maintain your youthful appearance, not change the look of your face. But like as you age, you start losing skin elasticity. So, collagen is important, water is important, all those things are important. Skincare, all of that, very important. You start losing the elasticity. So when you start losing that fullness, you start losing the elasticity, you put things back in to replace it versus trying to make your face look different. Does that make sense? Don't try to make your face look different. And I feel like I still look the same as what I used to, but with a little bit of age. But I look back at photos from when I was younger and I still feel like I looked relatively the same. You're so right. When I was talking with judges, what I should do, open not finally looked at my skin and said, yes, your skin looks youthful. Yeah, that's a big thing when it comes to what if I give you like advice as far as if you should do masters or not. Yolanda's on here. I told her this. She doesn't look masters at all. You know, if you don't look masters, don't do masters, right? I'm a fan of Botox for full head wrinkles because I'm super expressive with my face. Yeah, so you want to hear a funny story with the expressiveness of the face? When I was in my 20s, I had a boyfriend at the time who told me I smiled too much and that I was going to create wrinkles. I was like, I looked at him, I go, that's what Botox is for. Like, fuck you, I'm going to smile all I want. I've been saying a lot of fuck yous tonight. Sorry. My bad. But, you know, you guys see me every night. I mean, you guys see me on these live feeds every night. I maintain myself. That's it. Yep. That's it. There's no such thing. Like, I don't think there's a thing as like aging gracefully. I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing, I guess. But I'm fighting it. I'm going to fight it to the fucking grave. Like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. There are so many new procedures and things like that out there that I have not even touched. Oh, I'm going to do all of it. I'm going to do all of the things. All of the things. My point being, though, that you should never be trying to change what you look like. You should just try to maintain what you look like, I think. That's my personal view. Because when you start changing what you look like, that's when you start having problems, right? That's when things start looking weird. They start looking plastic, all that kind of thing, right? Oh my God, it sounds terrible. I don't know. He was awful. There was no way that shit was going to work out. Sorry. He was awful. He was pretty. He's a very pretty boy. Very ugly on the inside. Very ugly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was kind of a tangent, but it is what it is, you know? I'm going in, like I said, I'm going in next week. Virginia Institute, shout out Virginia Institute, going in next week. So like I said, slow and steady. Don't be trying to speed things up. You know, don't be trying to speed things up. It's like I was saying before, if you try to speed things up in a results manner, you're going to speed other things up too. You're going to speed other things up too. I see it happen all the time. When you speed things up, you speed everything up. Take your time. Enjoy the ride. Go nice and easy. Okay? Right? Hydrofacials and Botox for the win. Yes, absolutely. You can even and there's at-home stuff you can do too. Like there's like IPL machines now that you can buy it on Amazon. Red light therapy. I have a red bed in my bathroom. Like all this stuff you can do at home. Again, being consistent to help with all of those things. Right? So anyway, that was my thought process for this evening. I just wanted to talk about that because when I saw my photos this morning, I'm making good progress, right? I'm in improvement season and I'm making good progress. And as I make that progress, I'm happy with the pace that I'm making that progress, you know? So I'm happy with the direction that I'm going. I'm happy with the consistency every day. So be happy with where you are and always be looking towards, you know, improving, but at the same time, be okay with taking the time to get there. You know, be okay with taking that time. It doesn't get any less sweet by speeding, if you go speed it up. Did I say that right? I think I said that wrong. I don't know. It's been a long day. I think you guys know what I mean. Right? Any questions for tonight's live? Any questions for your improvement seasons? You know, anything that we talked about tonight that maybe you wanted to put your 2 cents in. And if you didn't see it, my progress photos are up in my stories on my personal page. I got to do a reel with my posing. I haven't done that. I like to do that once a week and just kind of give an update. And I just haven't had time today. It's been a very, very busy day. Thank you for everyone that came on the webinar today. Oh, I forgot to put up the QR code. Crap. Hang on. Let me put the QR code up. Oh, where is it? Here we go. Okay. There's my website right there. That's SeansCoutureCuties.com right there. If you want to scan that QR code, that'll take you to my website. We are actually redesigning our website right now. So that's SeansCoutureCuties.com. What we were on before for the webinar earlier today was suitsandposing.com. So we have 2 separate sites now. So just so you guys know that when you go and plug it in, it is going to come up different. So yeah, the webinar was fun. That was the first time I've ever done that. So it was a good time. I'll get better. I've never screen shared and done the PowerPoint and all that kind of stuff before. So, but it was fun. You guys were cool. So yeah, so we did that earlier. So for right now, this is SeansCoutureCuties.com right here. So we jump on over there if you want to go see more of our stuff. And again, we are redesigning that site as we speak. We have a lot of stuff coming, as you guys saw with the webinar today. What else? Warrior Classic is coming up. So that's our next show on docket. I'll be doing commentary there, but I'm also doing hair and makeup. So if you're doing Warrior Classic and you've not signed up for the hair and makeup yet, please do that. I will put the hair and makeup link up there. That right there, that QR code right there is to book hair and makeup. Our schedule is up on there. All of the shows are in chronological order except for NPC Universe. NPC Universe is at the bottom. So I added that show on. When we add shows on, they end up just going to the bottom. We can't put them in chronological order. It's annoying. I get it. I understand. But if you're looking for NPC Universe, it is on there. It's just at the bottom. And as we add more shows on as the year goes through, that's what will happen. It'll go at the bottom. So just be paying attention to the whole list when you're looking at your hair and makeup bookings and all of that. For those of you guys that don't know, have not done hair and makeup with me in the past, I always give out schedules the week of the show. So if you have signed up, you're on the roster, you're good. You just got to wait till either Monday or Tuesday of peak week. Just depends on how the show roster is looking and how the show schedule is looking. I always put girls in order of classes. So like if bikini is first, then all the bikini girls will go with their hair and makeup first, and then figure, and then wellness or whatever. I put it in order of classes. So that way you all are sure to be done and ready to go when you're getting on, when you have to get on stage and all that. So, so there's that. We also have our Spotify here. So we have several of our podcasts and stuff up on our Spotify too. So this is our QR code right here for Spotify. If you want to jump up on there. It's the same kind of concept as what you got here on YouTube. It's just another platform that you can listen to it and watch it on there. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got for tonight. So it's Thursday, which means we will be back on live on Tuesday. Okay, going to ask a dumb question. Is putting on more fat equal to building more muscle? No, it's not. Absolutely not. Actually, the more body fat that you put on, the more likely you're going to take muscle off when you try to diet down. So fat and muscle are 2 very different things. You do have to put on a little bit of fat in order to gain muscle, in my opinion. Can you do lean gains? Sure. It's definitely possible. Definitely possible to do lean gains to an extent. I think that, if you have a surplus of protein that you're eating and things like that, you're gonna grow a little bit, but it's going to be very, very slow if you don't allow yourself to actually put on some muscle or some fat as well. But there's a line. There's a line that you don't want to go past, right? These athletes who are getting thick and fairly fluffy, are they building more muscle, or are they setting their bodies up for protocols to work better? Not sure if that makes sense. Fat is fat. So whether they're doing it to put more muscle on, it's not putting more muscle on. Excess body fat does not equal putting on more muscle. Does not work like that. If you're talking about protocols as in drugs don't work like that either. Excess body fat does not help, period. It just doesn't help, right? There comes a point where you've got too much on and it's going to come off, and it's got to come off. So it's not going to help. It's actually going to hurt, because you got to put extra, if you got to take extra weight off, guess what's going to come off with it? Muscle. So this is why last week we talked about the body composition thing and keeping your body in a good composition, especially as you're getting older. As you're getting older, it gets harder. It gets harder to gain muscle, and it gets harder to take fat off. So as you're getting older, you want to keep your body composition in a better place regardless, because that is going to lead to the most net gains at the end of the day. Gross, yeah, you might be able to put on an extra like half a pound of muscle or something, maybe, but you're going to have to take it off when you cut down. It's going to come off. That's what happens. You know, you end up doing a more aggressive prep, which is harder on your body. It's harder on your body. So staying in a manageable weight is a good idea. Fat is fat. It really is. I mean, fat is fat. I mean, there's no way around that, you know? Like I would say probably the only exception to that rule is like open male bodybuilders who are on a ton of the protocols where they have to put on that kind of size. I would say maybe that's the only exception. But even with them, the more fat that they put on, they still got to take it off. So even with them, I wouldn't say that putting on a ton of body fat is a good idea. You're welcome. I hope that helps. You know, again, I go back to, I'm not a coach, I'm not a trainer, but I know enough stuff. Not hair on me, sorry. I know enough stuff to be able to give you an educated opinion. And sometimes when I say it, it might be a little bit better because I don't know all of the technical scientific terms. I don't. So I'm just going to relate it to you as best as I can because it makes sense to me. So sometimes that's a little bit better. Sometimes people can actually understand it a little bit better when you do that kind of thing. I don't know. I understand it. So, and you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of research out there. You said, "Oh, thanks." There's a lot of research out there, but a lot of it comes down to anecdotal as well. There's tons of scientific research out there for stuff like this, but a lot of it is just experience. A lot of it comes down to anecdotal experience. It really just does. So, and just paying attention to what happens over time to people. That's how you get loose skin and stuff like that too. We were just talking about aging. Stretch that skin way out. It's gonna be hard to get that to pop right back. That elasticity, I'm telling you, the closer you can stay to your stage look, the better. That elasticity goes quick, right? Good question. Good question. Those are the kind of questions, like when we do these little live feeds like this, those are the kind of questions I love. Those kinds of things, because we can kind of talk about it a little bit. And I hope that like me putting it into layman's terms helps. Right? Okay, so with that, we'll be back on live again on Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have some good coverage from like Border Clash and, you know, from the Samson Showdown and all of that, so that we can do a wrap up. And we'll roll right into the next week here. And then, like I said, Warrior Classic is the week after that. So hope you guys have had a great week so far. I can't believe it's almost Friday already. Oh my goodness. So with that, I'm going to let y'all have a great night. Okay. And I'm going to let you go. And yeah, that's it. Have a great night. I'm going to log off of Instagram first.